In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, I don't know, roll your ass!
Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet that is broadcasting a pre-recorded stream instead of doing a live stream tonight because we had conflicts on our schedules and everything. I am your host, Detective Mark Smarts, and I'm joined, as always, by my partners in crime fighting. Starting off, District Attorney Vincent Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
That intro still scares the shit out of me every time. I mean, I was right there. I was right there.
Yeah. You do not want your ass ruled.
I'm a large man, and Warhorse had me thinking my ass might be ruled. I'm terrified. And then he was like, how'd I do?
Like, yeah. Here's the deal.
Nice please don't roll my ass.
Super nice guy, but also scary. So, yeah. Also joining us from up north, RCMP JLB. What's going on, man?
It goes on and on, good sir. Can't. I have a few things to complain about, actually, wrestling related. But this is what the crime show is for. Are you sure we're not live? I see a live thing there. That just means we're recording.
It just means we're recording. That doesn't show to the people out there. They can't see it.
Nice. So. Perfect. So, not too shabby, Interesting to record on a different day this time around.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling to us. We're not used to recording. We're recording this on Friday night. Normally, we do this on Sundays. So,
but
if anything happens big on Saturday,
this might be something we end up liking. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we switch to Friday nights. Personally, it might be nicer for me because I don't have to work Saturdays anymore.
Yeah,
and so I can
you don't
sleep
work Saturdays anymore. I don't have morning meetings before court on Saturdays.
Legit get a weekend off. Yeah, nice guys.
Might be something for us to think about. So here's what we're gonna do.
Like the feel of this.
We'll see how we like the feel. But if you're watching this, whether pre-recorded or on the broadcast pre-recorded. Let us know in the comments or hit us up on social media and let us know whether you like the idea of us moving to Friday night or maybe a different night of the week just in general for the live stream.
The other pieces, we're doing our year-end reviews, two of them, both on Friday nights. So we're going to get a good feel for how Friday nights treat us.
Yeah, because here's the deal is this holiday season is going to suck for us on Sundays because, all of the holidays
New
are on
Year's.
Saturday. Yeah, exactly. Christmas Day is Saturday. New Year's Day is Saturday.
They're all back
Sunday,
to work.
We're like, back to work Mondays. So,
food hangovers and everything. So, yeah.
So, anyways, but yeah. So, before we get into talking about wrestling this week, we're going to talk about tatnusco.com. Because Raw and Order is part of the Tatnus Co. podcast network. So you could head to the doobly-doos after the episode's over. You can click that tatnusco.com link. You head on over to Tatnus Co. And you get to see the other shows in the network, get to figure out what they have to offer, or get to learn a little bit more about Tatnus. And then tell them we sent you and come back here for the next stream. That's as simple as that.
Yep, just that simple.
Tatnusco.com, right?
Correct. Link is in the doobly-doo.
Link is in the doobly-doos, but you can't really find the doobly-doos right now, so.
You sure could if you wanted to. Anyways, but we're going to go ahead and get into the wrestling crimes for the week. Now, of course, because we're recording on Friday instead of Sunday,
we're not going to know
what happened on Saturday or Sunday. We're not going to know. And if I'm correct, this is the weekend of Ring of Honor's final show, potentially of all time. So we're not going to know what happens on that. We do know that per Tony Khan, he has some sort of surprise or support lined up for it, AEW related. I would anticipate because Ring of Honor has been hit by a few COVID bugs, including Bandito, their current world champion.
Wow. Okay.
Can't show up to the show because he's got COVID.
Damn.
So because of that, it might just be a talent swap where they're sending some talent over there. I don't know. We'll find out. And we'll talk about it probably on Tuesday before we do the fantasy booking. But for Wrestling Crimes, I'll open up the field to my co-hosts to see who's got crimes for this week.
So I guess I'm gonna make this a crime. I was debating whether just to make it what's the other one called that we make it?
Commendation or misdemeanor?
Misdemeanor, yeah, that's it. So I was gonna maybe make it a misdemeanor, but I think it'll be my crime. So we had Xia Li premiere debut on SmackDown to help out Naomi, because Naomi always deserves better. So why not a person debuting on SmackDown to help out Naomi? One thing,
Naomi deserves better, according to you. So why not have a rookie come and upstage her?
Well played. However, now listen, the few problems I have with Xia Li debuting is this whole CGI electricity thing. They're really making her out to be some kind of like superhero. And just her vignettes made her seem more of a serious character with the comic book stuff. I get it, comic book, superheroes, whatever. But it seemed like it was going to be more of a serious, just a serious character than what they're going to make her out to be. And I think with what they're doing, she's going to fall in the shuffle and no one's going to care about her. Be great for merchandising sales. I'll give you that. But I don't know. This is not the Xia Li we had from NXT at all. Just too superhero-y, too fantasy, lightning bolts, this and that, and I'm already hating it. Yeah, okay, I'll give it a chance. But honestly, with WWE, I feel like with what they've already done, I feel like I already know where they're going to go. So my accommodation is for my crime is the WWE booking and writers, and ultimately Xia Li for agreeing to this stupid lightning bolt of cheesiness.
I will take Xia Li out of this crime because she really doesn't have any power.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, that's true too.
She wasn't established like an Adam Cole or someone who had the ability to kind of veto some stuff. She's effectively a rookie who's being called up. She kind of has to do what she's told.
That's fair. Okay. Sorry, Xia Li.
So I'll take her out of it. But no, I for the most part agree with you. I'm gonna expand your crime just a little bit,
teeny tiny,
and say I'm fucking sick of the WWE augmented reality CGI shit, just in general. All of it, right? Matt Riddle's birds that fly out when he kicks off his shoes. The really creepy Becky Lynch with the sunglasses. All of this.
Roman.
Well, Romans, I don't mind even.
Really, there's so much better stuff you could do there, though.
Well, there's another one that's got like
Bianca Belair.
No, there's one. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's like a dragon or something in the air. God, I can't even remember. It's fucking stupid. They're all stupid.
Randy Orton's Viper.
Randy Orton's Viper might be the one I'm thinking of. But there's just a whole bunch of them. Like every single one of them comes out to the stupid augmented. And here I'm gonna say part of my frustration is, I have frustration with WWE's product being so heavily focused on at-home television viewers and leaving the live audience in the dust, right?
Yeah, straight up.
It's already bad enough when you go to a live WWE show or AEW, because this applies to both or any of them, that you don't get to hear the ring announcers. You don't get to hear the commentators, right?
Right.
I get it, right? The commentators are for the live TV audience. You don't get to hear the commentators at a football game. You don't get to hear the commentators at a basketball game or a baseball game.
You could, but there'd be some significant lag to it.
Yeah. But it's already one of those things where you're already taking a hit there, but now you're missing a visual part of the thing. The all that CGI stuff, the people there can't see it because it's all digital. It's all put in post.
There's not a giant inflatable Roman Reigns.
Nope, there's not a giant inflatable Roman Reigns
standing there.
Nope,
very disappointing.
There's indeed not. And that's the deal. And so that's my biggest frustration is I'm like, up until CGI came along, all of the things that were added to entrances for people were stuff that applied to the live crowd too. The pyro,
in fact,
music
probably was more enhanced for the live crowd.
Because you got like the pyro goes off and there's a boom, you feel it in your chest.
You feel it, yes.
And all this stuff, and it's exciting for the crowd.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
This is entirely not for the live crowd. And so I think it actually hurts WWE in this respect. Pyro gets the people in the crowd hyped and they go, yeah, and they pop. No one's popping for the CGI stuff because no one can see it, right? And so it doesn't enhance the live crowd experience and it doesn't enhance their reactions in any way.
Which is part of what we pop off of is their reaction.
Exactly.
We at home pop off their reaction.
So
make it part of their entrance or like their entrance video or something so that the fans could at least kind of see it with what we're going to see. So it does like a pan back to the camera for us on the CGI. And then for like a video, you just have that, you know what I mean? Like for the fans there, it won't be, it will kind of be the same crowd. And I'm sure it's something they could just easily do. It's just a pre-recorded little thing. Hey, this is what it's going to look like. This is what the fans are seeing.
Yeah,
not going to be as cool as seeing it in person because you're still seeing it on the screen.
Yeah. Here's the deal: is it doesn't matter how you do it because if you're there live in the crowd, you're looking at the person walking down the ramp. You're not looking at the screen, or if you are looking at the screen, you're looking at the screen of them walking down the ramp. So you're still not going to really notice that sort of stuff.
At the same time, there was this augmented reality. I don't know if you guys have seen it. There was a show where these contestants were in a back room and they were singing, but they had their AR out there and the judges were judging the AR. So I don't actually know if the judges it's almost holographic, but it's like
the judges are watching it on a screen. Right.
They're watching it on a screen. Okay.
Yeah.
That particular show is just simply about performative styling for the music. It's like The Voice, only you get to dance and you're not being judged on your look.
Or the Masked Singer.
Right. Or the Masked Singer.
Right. Okay, no, but I just wasn't sure. I'm like, do they have some kind of technology where they actually do get to see this, but they're just looking at it on a screen?
On a screen, yeah.
Now,
the other piece to this is that the augmented reality there replaced pyro. So we have the abilities with I truly feel like the next step for WWE is to create a more live experience at home than a unique experience at home if they wanted to do that. A partnership with Oculus would be incredible. I mean, the Yankees do it at Yankee Stadium. You buy your own tickets for an Oculus View. I think Smarks and I were talking about that the other day in private. And you get a haptic speaker set as well that you can either wear for the full gaming vest or a strap-on haptic speaker. That would give you a whole new experience. And that's the smarter move rather than, oh, look what we can do. We can create CGI characters.
we can make birds fly out of Matt Riddle's feet,
And-
even though that
and
makes
not
no
good
fucking sense.
CGI either.
No,
Right.
no, some of it's horrible.
Residually redundant CGI that isn't that great.
Correct.
And I think I'm sure they don't have the best stuff either, but I mean that's where it's going though, right? Like now their Facebook with the metaverse, there's this other thing coming out where you're gonna do augmented reality like visits with a wrestler. Braun Strowman is part of it, and a bunch of other celebrities are a part of it. So I think that's WWE dipping its toes into just messing around with CGI and see how people respond, and then they're gonna see if they maybe want to invest into augmented reality. And so
I will flat out say if they do something where if you were a haptic speaker and a Oculus or a VR system and you're ringside, boy, they'll make, especially if they bring back pyro. The only thing you're missing is the heat from the pyro. You can get the audio feel, the haptic feel of it. That could be pretty impressive.
Well, yeah, you put a person with a 360-degree camera, like the cameraman who normally comes up right to the ramp to video the guy coming in.
Yeah.
You put a 360-degree camera on his head, right? And then you allow people at home to view on Oculus, view on HTC Vive, with it, and get in that. Where now, instead of watching it from, you're literally right here with the guy.
I mean,
and
you
can
can
see
set
it,
these cameras up on the ring post. You could have, obviously these are gaming type systems, so you could literally just jump from camera to camera.
Yeah.
And I want to be on the ramp.
Yeah. Like I said, put it on top of the cameraman's head. Put it on top of the camera dolly, that's going in here, so that you can literally be wherever the camera is, but still turn your head and look around and see whatever you want to, And then, like you said, have it mic'd there so you hear the extra.
You still have the ring mic'd so you can feel the impacts.
Yep.
All that stuff.
And then your cable is going to get really pissed at you and say, hey, you're throwing away viewers away from watching it on TV.
Make it so the only way you can qualify to purchase it is that you have the cable.
Yeah, I guess. So.
Well, and on top of it, you simply you tie it to it. You still go to commercial breaks. You still have the commercial. In fact, then you can go to advertisers and say, hey, if you present a special VR version of your commercial where the people, can look around and see your product from other angles or whatever, this is the way to adapt to new technology instead of bastardizing new technology. This is the way.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is the way.
I think it's also very expensive. And the amount of people that would actually do it, because honestly, augmented reality.
If you're paying, so let's pretend that you're paying $25 for a VR game via Oculus. We'll just use Oculus as the example. They are the Windows right now of this. And so let's say you're using Oculus and you're using a haptic feedback speaker from any brand you want. If you're paying for that and you already have that equipment, you'll pay $5 extra to experience Wrestlemania that way.
Yeah. And I'm also going to point out that Oculus really not that expensive anymore.
No, it's not. But if you're already paying to be a part of these things, you're going to pay for.
You can buy Oculus at Walmart. Here's the deal. Do you know what company owns Oculus?
Is it Facebook?
It's Facebook.
Oh, okay.
It's Facebook. Let's see here.
They've got the foundations of the metaverse.
The Oculus Quest 2 is $199.99 on Walmart. 200 bones.
How much did you pay for your PS5?
Well, the bitchy part is I don't have a PS5. I still have a PS4, but PS5 is like 600 bones, 630. That's
Oh.
Canadian. So
Guess what? You can get the Oculus Quest 2 all-in-one that comes with the headset, the AR headset, the controllers, the extra mount, the touch controller, and a pack, and all sorts of other stuff for less than a PS5.
yeah.
Any haptic speakers come with that?
Not directly with that,
Body speakers?
but you want a little bit more, you can do the Oculus Rift 5, which is the one that connects to a PC, which is super thing, but that's still less than a PS5.
And the messed up part is PlayStation's VR, so you can play their PlayStation VR games, is like stupid expensive still. And it's like, what the fuck? Like,
So-
you know what I mean?
So
Like,
imagine
I want to
the-
play it, but
WWE, this is a segment where WWE has the money, has the innovation, could actually be ahead of the game on this, just offer it for pay-per-views, and suddenly now there's something they can pay-per-view that isn't part of
the cable system. It's the WWE network. That'd be cool.
part of not WWE or Peacock. It's something that you pay extra to get. You already have to have Peacock to get it or WWE Network to get it, and then you can order it and spend $30 to sit and watch WrestleMania.
How many people would do
ringside.
that though? I don't know.
Ringside? If I could feel the impact of the hits,
You won't
when
feel
people
the
do it.
impact.
Okay. So here's the question, right? How much are tickets to WrestleMania?
$1,200 cheap seats.
$1,200 for cheap.
I know
seats, right?
because we have direct flights to Dallas from our area here.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So $1,200 for the cheap seats to WrestleMania, right? But not everyone can get to WrestleMania, right? You know, I would have a hard time getting there right now. In a few months, maybe the things would be different, but right now I'd have a hard time justifying even just the time off from work, right?
Right.
But it would be something that if I already had an Oculus or an HTC Vive and WWE offered, hey, here's a $200 like you're there experience for WrestleMania. You can't make it to WrestleMania, but for $200, you can experience it like you were there.
And they test that out for one or two WrestleManias or just the big ones.
For
Yeah.
big ones, I could see that happening. That'd be cool.
But here's the deal. Once you've got the technology, once you've got it all figured out, it's actually really cheap to roll it out to other ones, right? So for WrestleMania, you have a $200 package that you can experience it from home like you're there. But then for the other ones like Backlash or whatever, you drop it down to $100. Experience, but or something like that. Everyone's already got the stuff. You can make that extra money.
Right.
You want to increase your fan experience and try and get more people to buy into the Saudi deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's WrestleMania or Saudi shows. That's it.
Well, no, and my thing is you start having it for the other ones, but maybe a scaled back experience, right? You know, for WrestleMania, it's like you're right there next to the people, right there next to the wrestlers, right? But for Backlash or whatever, you just have a couple cameras around the ring and one roaming camera on a cameraman, and that's it. Less choice to do, not quite as immersive and all that stuff, but still an immersive thing. So the WrestleMania ones, the big four ones get you this really immersive, but the other ones are cheaper, but get you still a fairly immersive thing. Once you have the technology, it's actually cheaper to implement it on every single one necessarily than
And so you charge big the first year on the big four and pay for all the technology to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it.
And you can still charge big on the big four.
AEW, if anybody from AEW listens to this, I challenge you to be the first to do this.
Yeah, beat WWE.
Because this is a really cool idea that I think
especially since with all the quick cuts, especially with all the quick cuts that WWE does, you can be your own. Who's it? Bruce Pritchard that does the camera stuff.
Oh no, fucking oh god, totally blanking on his name.
Pete Dunne? No, Pete Dunne.
Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn. That's it. You can be your own Kevin Dunn, so to speak. You own your control room, right? You have a bunch of cameras. You flip to.
I'd almost pay $200 to not watch the Kevin Dunn feed.
Exactly. Especially during Roman holds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
Roman wrestled 75 different camera views, 4 seconds. Boom, 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 boom.
boom, boom,
Oh
boom,
my
boom, 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 boom.
Even his ooh is like 3 separate camera angles. Ooh.
Ooh, ah. So,
But and then yes, you do want to choose it. I think that you have to have that available on video so that you can come back and watch it again from a different angle.
mhm.
I will warn anybody who chooses to watch that when they watch pro wrestling, you will ruin your experience. Your suspension of disbelief, if you're on the wrong camera angle, will be ruined by it.
That's part of why I
Oh.
like the idea of having the camera on the cameraman rather than mounted in necessarily static locations around.
Yeah,
Because then
Yeah.
at least they have a little bit of control over
that's true.
that disbelief.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, that would be messed up.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
even seeing that from the
But live
crowd,
that
though.
happens. Yeah, but live it ruins it. I mean, I physically watched Shane McMahon completely whiff and Roman Reigns go, ugh, like he got just belted
Oops.
live from the cheap seats. I could tell nothing was making contact. I was like, oh, that's great.
That's true, and we still go for that. So,
Just don't think that you're going to see better hits because some of them
Right.
just won't even make contact.
won't even make contact. Exactly.
The only thing I don't want WWE to do is to take this to the next step and strap a camera onto the wrestler.
No, because that'll make you sick.
Even if it doesn't make you sick, it'll ruin the because if you're literally on the wrestler, you're gonna see that drop kick doesn't come close.
But the cameraman who gets thrown in front of Roman for the spear, that would be pretty cool to be in that position. And
Yeah,
get a haptic hit.
maybe some moments like you have like OMG moments or something. So they'll have one for a spear or
not
like
on
the
the
finishers. They'll just have for like the finishers kind of thing. You
But
know
not
what I
on
mean?
the wrestler because I don't want to see the wrestlers with cameras
None on the
their heads.
wrestler, no.
Right, not on the wrestler, but like some sort of different angle that no one else would get.
Here's the deal. For AEW, put it on Brandon Cutler. He's already coming out with the Young Bucks. He's already coming out with the Young Bucks. He's already videotaping it for BTE. That
Right.
behind the scenes footage goes on BTE all the time. So just have a camera on him that gives the VR during that. Anyways, AEW, listen to us. We smart.
I think that this was
We not stupid.
one of our better ideas that we've ever come up with here.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
But to back to JLB's original part though, I want to say raise your hand if you're surprised that WWE is ruining the Xia Li launch.
Oh, raise my
Right.
hand.
You're
I'm
surprised?
Oh no, I'm not.
Oh geez, none of us are raising our hands.
Put the hand down.
I'm
Put
going to
the hand
Donald
down.
Trump my
Hand down.
drink out of that so that both my hands stay down.
Donald Trump drinks like that?
He did
Yeah.
once, and people made fun of him for it.
It was a glass of water, and he
My precious.
And then he sipped it. And
yeah, just this. Yeah, it was.
Oh, is that where his like hand shook or something? I gotta find that after.
My 3-year-old drinks out of a cup more.
put your sippy lid on, bud. That's to keep my hands down. That's all I was doing, just to keep my hands down. Anyway, yeah, I mean, we know they're going to botch any introduction. They botched Liv
Especially
Morgan
with Asians, bro. With Asians, they always get them in this like, oh, you got to be a kung fu master or a karate person
The
or a
thing-
samurai
Now,
or a...
The
In
thing
their
with Xia
defense
Li,
on Xia Li is she's a professional karate fighter.
yeah, she was legitimately a martial artist.
An amazing kick.
I believe it's kung fu, but anyways, yeah, she's a legitimate martial artist, and that was her whole gimmick. That's why they signed her originally. In fact, she is actually a perfect example of the sort of one that WWE, that NXT 2.0 really wants.
She's
She
like
was not
the
a
new
professional
Neil
wrestler.
next in line. Yeah.
Yep, she was not a professional wrestler. She was a martial artist that WWE found and cultivated into a professional wrestler. But here's the deal: is, you mentioned that you don't like this whole superhero sort of gimmick. I don't know if you saw the news about one of the future pitches that Johnny Gargano turned down when he chose not to resign.
No, I didn't.
But that was they were going to send him to the main roster, and he was going to be paired with Nikki ASH.
Oh my God!
As a superhero.
Oh Jesus! Thank God that was turned down.
Was his nickname going to be Hurricane? Because that would have been,
I'm surprised that they haven't, because Shane Helms is backstage. He's one of their agents.
Yeah.
They put the suit back on him and pair him up with Nikki.
Yeah, he doesn't have to get in the ring. Just have her consult with him in vignettes.
In vignettes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, would love that. That'd be cool. At least, especially she's down in her dumps. Perfect timing. They might just do that actually, because now she's all down. A fan was talking to Jerry Lawler, wasn't talking to her. So now she needs some like pick me ups, and what's her face doesn't know what to do anymore. She's trying to help her. Hey, you know what? I got a real life superhero to help you out. And then bam, Hurricane comes in. Like WWE most likely will be doing that now, I feel. Or they'll just completely miss the boat.
So they're gonna ignore our really good idea about Oculus, and Shane Helms is now going to consult.
So I have one question. You said something about Jerry Lawler not talking to her. That seems like a win in my book.
Oh no, very valid. But I mean, like, I just meant that whole little saga thing. She got disappointed. Like, yeah, definitely a win for sure. Jerry Lawler should never ever talk to any sort of young athlete ever, female.
I'm fine with Jerry Lynn not talking.
Jerry Lynn?
Jerry Lynn?
Jerry
Lynn can talk.
Jerry Lynn can talk. Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear the puppies.
No, nope, sure don't.
You got to go more high pitch. It's puppies, JR. Sounded like a weird clown.
I feel like we just created two cartoon characters that are really irritating and annoying.
Sounds about right.
And somehow or another, not as annoying as Jerry Lawler.
and somehow probably still going to be better than Rey Mysterio's Cartoon Network show. What? Did I say that out loud?
No.
Too soon?
Did we just bring up another crime from one person?
Yeah, save some for the rest of us here, bud.
Booyaka, booyaka, low ratings, booyaka, booyaka. I don't know, Cartoon Network.
I mean, seriously, if there's a WWE star that has all the colorful and excitement,
the diaper wearing magic
designed for children, that is the one.
Yes, let's. I mean, it's designed for babies. Every time I see him, it looks like he has a new diaper on. It's really messed up. I
mean, here's the deal: is I'm all for them doing Rey Mysterio instead of doing a WWE Legends Ultimate Warrior cartoon.
Woo! Or like the Camp WWE stuff.
I don't know. I mean, can you imagine the promos of a cartoon? All the little warriors.
Except the black ones.
And
the gay ones.
Rest in peace, Warrior. We're dicks, but so were you.
No, I loved Warrior growing up, and I loved his promos, but I'm not gonna say rest in peace, Warrior. Man, the dude was a
Jesus.
Anyways,
sociopath.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, homophobe, sociopath,
narcissistic.
Anyways, we'll go ahead and move on to the next crime. DFA, you got a crime for me?
I think I did 3 crimes.
I mean, yeah, you kind of did.
My bad.
That's all right. And it still only took us
30 minutes.
So,
What's your crime?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go with a positive crime.
Hey,
to WWE.
Oh,
got it. No,
oh my God, no,
damn it. Sorry,
I'm gonna start randomly doing that during the middle of your.
But also a negative crime to WWE. You got to be more aware of what's going on in a person's life, of the things that are going on. of how they're approaching the ring. Jeff probably shouldn't have been in the match last Friday. And he was. Props to Jeff for leaving the match, realizing he was not in the condition to do it. We don't know for sure why he left the match. We don't know what was going on. What we do know, God, I can see the bug right now. What we do know is that he left and that he declined to go to rehab. But we don't even know that he had been drinking or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's no evidence, nothing, no reports of that being solidified. We do know that he declined to go to rehab and was released. Good for WWE to release him if he was declining rehab and he needed it.
Yeah, good to WWE for offering the rehab.
For offering it.
Yeah.
Bad for WWE if he was actually under the influence and went out to the ring and does what he does. You endangered 5 people. You endangered 6 people. And a referee and other people out there, and you need to be more aware of what's going on before they're even going out to the ring.
Gives you flashbacks to a certain TNA pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, right? So that's what I was thinking when I was watching that house show, because I watched the full house show match, and Jeff Hardy was doing decent.
That was SmackDown, dude.
It was a house show.
I think it was a house show.
It was a super show. It was a super show.
Oh, on Saturday. I thought it was SmackDown.
No. It was like a super show in Texas on the Saturday. And he was doing decently well, though, until he got like shoved and then he just fell randomly. And then I'm like, oh, okay, something kicked in and now he's really just completely.
That was kind of the speculation originally was that he got injured somehow during it. But then... he was looking
sluggish.
The offer for
rehab.
The offer for rehab and the commensurate firing makes you think there's more to it than that. Now,
well, he was sluggish going into the ring, though. He was very sluggish. His eyes were a bit dazed. He was holding on to his stomach. So it looked like a lot of things. Was he injured? Was it food poisoning? Was it just... whatever, you know what I mean? So we don't know, but obviously Jeff's wife is really up and at him to say like, hey, and like if you don't know what's going on, you shouldn't report. Commenting on the Brian Sapp's reporting there, or Sean Sapp, whatever.
Sean Sapp.
That's it. And then she also retweeted X-Pac's whole comment on rehab about going to rehab and how it might not necessarily be the one that's gonna fix you, but yeah, sure, but what do you want WWE to do? I
mean, in the end, I'm all for giving people benefit of the doubt, but with Jeff Hardy, we've been down this road multiple times before. I mentioned Victory Road in TNA, but this isn't even the first potential relapse in his most recent WWE run.
Right.
He's
been fired twice from WWE, right? So once was for personal reasons. Second time, second time was because of either substance abuse or alcohol abuse, whatever. So they fired him. And then the Victory Road shenanigans. And he also went to Impact twice. So he's been on this road for quite a while. And
my point is, it wasn't even on this most recent run. He got sent home and got arrested for drunk driving just 2 years ago, 3 years ago on this most recent run, right? I mean, WWE has...
That's why his contract was extension.
Yeah, WWE has been more than patient and more than forgiving with him on this. But in the end, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck and looks like a duck, I'm... apt to believe it was substance abuse problems.
I'm at the very minimum going to protect the other wrestlers that are involved. I'm at the very minimum going to protect the fans that are involved.
Yeah.
I'm at the very minimum going to do what I can to protect Jeff. And that means even if he wasn't intoxicated, even if he wasn't
Here's the deal.
He walked through the crowd and could have gotten himself badly injured.
Yeah.
Like, did you see the video of the security guard running after him to make sure he's safe?
Yeah. In the end, sometimes it's the promoter's job to protect the wrestler from themselves, right? And here's the deal. We've given AEW
were termination or rehab,
and we've given AEW crap for similar things, involving his brother, Matt Hardy, the whole backstage spot at
some Stampede one or whatever.
The Sammy Guevara one.
Sammy Guevara one. Yeah. I'm trying to remember which pay-per-view it was. It was Double or Nothing.
Either way, that match.
Anyways, 2020. Anyways, he had that botched spot in the back, a very likely concussion at it. And he waved off the referee and the trainer and said, I want to finish the match. And they did really quickly go to the finish and do the finish really quickly. But in the end, we on this very show went off on AEW because that's the situation where you as a promoter have to make the call. The wrestler is not in the right mindset to make the call as to whether or not,
regardless of whether it's injury or substance abuse
or whatever.
My indictment to WWE is, if it was substance abuse, he shouldn't have been able to make it to the ring.
Well,
same indictment had we done a podcast in 2008 when Jeff went to the ring to face Sting. He shouldn't have even had the chance to make it past Gorilla. Like
Bischoff
tried doctors checking him out 20 minutes beforehand.
Yeah. I mean, in the Victory Road thing, you actually see Bischoff trying to stop him before he comes out, and he pushes past. And at that point, I think TNA did everything right from that point on, where they're like, listen, we're not going to let him wrestle a full match. And they go to Sting and say, you put him down and you hold him down. This will be a shoot pin, right? We're not going to let him wrestle. We're not going to let him try to do a swanton or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Put him down immediately and hold him down for a 3 count so that we can just get this done.
And that was obvious substance abuse.
Yeah.
This one wasn't. This one may have been an injury. It could be the only thing that indicates to us that there may have been substance abuse involved is the reports.
Yeah.
As to why he's been let go. But that doesn't mean anything here. It may mean, hey, you were on pain medication because you were injured and you didn't tell us you were injured. So we think you have a substance problem.
Yep.
And he may have very well been managing that and hurt himself because he was on pain meds and didn't feel something. Those are normal parts of being in a sport.
It could have been like JLB mentioned. It could have been food poisoning.
Yeah.
But at that point,
you need to tell us what's going on.
You need to tell us what's going on. And if you're legitimately got food poisoning, we need to pull you off. And I think some of this has to do with Jeff Hardy still is part of the middle of the old wrestlers group, where we got to be tough and we got to push through things and go out there.
Yeah.
Whereas there's a new generation of wrestlers out there now who do understand that you got to look after your own health, right?
Yep.
And so these wrestlers now don't typically take things like steroids. They don't take HGH, stuff like that. They try to be natural, all of this stuff. And when they're injured and legitimately, feel like they can't wrestle, they say, listen, I don't think I should be wrestling. Whereas 20 years ago and 30 years ago, wrestlers had this whole thing of push through the pain. You got to push through. You got to wrestle that 280 days a year. You got to wrestle 300 days a year, right? Got to be on the road all the time.
I understand your quad is ripped away from your actual thigh bone, but at least do a pedigree.
Yeah, finish the match, right?
Do a pedigree.
Jeez, what are you? What are you, a pussy?
Whoa.
Oh. Hey, fun fact. The origins of the word pussy have nothing to do with female anatomy.
It's a cat.
No, it actually has to do with the French word pousser.
To push.
And it meant like weak in this way. So anyways, so that's really what it came to. So I can say it without being a misogynist.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess I am applauding WWE, but I'm also saying either to Jeff or WWE, how did you make it out there if this was something that could have been pre-existing enough that you stopped during the match?
Mhm.
Now, he did carry most of the match, from what I understand too.
He did, yeah. Like he was in the match for a good 15 minutes. So like I was really shocked by how much he was doing. And I'm like, that's why I originally thought, like when I had posted that on Twitter, I had like a crazy retweet bonanza. A bunch of people were commenting and all that. And like bonanza. And everyone's like, oh, it's relapse. I'm like, listen, I don't want to put any bad omens on anything. The fact that this guy did this match for 15 minutes though, and he looked halfway decent, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's a house show. Maybe he wasn't pulling his full effort. Now we know what went on, but it was not a victory road scenario. It was not a Matt Hardy after he did that thing where Matt Hardy wasn't necessarily doing a lot. It just, yeah, like he was in that match for quite a while, and then he just collapsed. So I almost feel like it could have been something to do with he was dealing something with pain. He took maybe too many painkillers or something, and he was out of it. His stomach was just like telling him, like, he maybe was aching too much. And this all leads to the Broken Skull session as well, where Jeff had mentioned that he is in a better place now, but he hasn't been going back on the road yet. And he is scared to do so. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, but he was scared to do so in the sense that like it takes a lot on your body and so on. And I get that, and all the other wrestlers do it. What makes Jeff special? But given Jeff's history, it's a little different for you, bud. You clearly can't be doing house shows. It's clear to me that all that stuff that you did in TLC 1 and TLC 2 and TLC 3 and all your Jeff Hardy flip-de-doos throughout the years, now that you're older, is taking a toll on you. And clearly you got to self-medicate in some way, shape, or form. Just because I could only imagine how much pain the guy's in. I'm aching and I don't even wrestle. You know what I mean? And I'm older.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, here's one of the things. If you look at Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy, yeah, Jeff Hardy usually used to always do the more risky stuff than Matt Hardy did, right?
Mhm.
Jeff Hardy was the one who jumped off the top of scaffoldings and all that stuff, right? Whereas
Right.
Matt Hardy, about 5 years ago, made a change in the way he wrestled.
Right.
And even more 3 years ago, he changed it, and now he's more of a brawler. He's more of a, in-ring, stuff rather than a high flyer.
Right.
And Jeff needs to make that same sort of change for the safety of his body. He needed to make it years ago. The problem is, I think he thinks
he likes that adrenaline though too, right? He also mentioned that on the Broken Skull.
I think he likes the adrenaline of the crowd pop that comes from.
I think it's well.
Oh my god!
And even more than that, I think he thinks the crowd needs him to do that. I think
Not
he
even
thinks
it's
if
a
he
personal
stops
thing on him.
No, I seriously think he thinks if he stops doing it, the crowd stops supporting him. I really do think that. And so he's like, I've got to do this. Otherwise, I fall out of favor with the crowd. And I fall out of favor with the crowd. I don't have a job anymore. So I've got to do this to keep the crowd on my side.
It's literally an adrenaline junkie thing, because he also mentioned he does like
I
NASCAR and stuff like that. Or
I
whatever.
understand what he says.
Right.
It says, right. I'm saying there's a deeper psychological side to it. That he realizes his career was based so much on these high-flying, risky moves that he feels if he stops doing them, he loses his career.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's possible.
So,
since JLB got 2 crimes, 7 crimes, whatever you got. I am going to do one more, and this crime goes to Tony Khan.
okay.
It's a good crime.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
regardless of what's happening, now we've made our own speculations and predictions of what we'd like to see happen. Tomorrow night, i.e., last night, yesterday,
yes,
because you'll be watching this on Sunday. There's going to be some involvement by TK with ROH's Final Battle, which could also be their last show.
Yeah, could be an aptly named pay-per-view.
Yes, it is their last show. We know till April. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Correct.
And we know that signed AEW wrestlers like Jay Lethal will be performing there. But props to TK for partnerships, regardless of what happens in the long run. And we've said this numerous times before, but we're going to say it again because the partnerships scream of wrestling matters to me, not I matter to me. Wrestling matters to me.
Yes.
And,
like I made the joke.
Run a wrestling company.
I made the joke earlier that he could walk out and do the Vince McMahon. I bought but I don't expect him to do that because to him, having that other wrestling is better than not having it. Right?
Correct.
He
also wants places for his wrestlers to go where he doesn't have to organize a tour nonstop.
Yeah.
I think there's an advantage to that. You want to work 280 days a year? Perfect. Go do it with somebody else too.
I also think it even comes down to the whole a rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
Right. That's all ships. Here's the deal. He understands that if he becomes the only wrestling game in town, it's easy to become stale. It's what happened to WWE for the most part. And so having these other wrestling things around and getting them up and lifting them up helps lift him up. It's why he partnered with Impact. It's why he has done stuff with MLW and New Japan right now and all this stuff, because it's all about lifting wrestling as a whole. Well, because raising them raises him up.
Here's an example. AEW is not the reason for this podcast. A WWE show is the reason for this podcast. We went to a WWE show. We hung out for an hour afterward, just chit-chatting and bullshitting. So we got to give them that prop.
Well, but and even more than that show, we did it for years as coworkers.
Yeah,
where we would stand. You'd take your smoke break at work, and I'd come out and we'd stand there for.
I do no such thing. I would not taint my body with this nicotine.
He is a liar.
Anyway. But no,
we would go out and we'd talk about it.
Yeah,
all day. And so much that our bosses got a little frustrated with us at times because.
Oh, no, wait, you guys are talking about wrestling again. Yeah,
you're talking about wrestling. Hey, you should get on the phones.
Yeah,
have you made your calls?
Do you think the conservative and the liberal are going to be besties based on politics? No, we're besties based on wrestling, man. So anyway, the other piece to that is a huge chunk to this. Would I know who Sami Callihan was without TK? Yeah. Would I know who Moose was? Yeah. Would I know who Chris Bay was? Maybe.
Well, you should if you know who Moose was.
No, because Moose has been around for a lot longer.
Was.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Moose has been
Chris
around for
Bay
a long
hasn't
time.
Been a title shot.
No.
I mean,
and here's the deal.
He's been in the picture, but he hasn't held the title.
And you could argue, would Chris Bay have gotten the options that he had in Impact Wrestling if there wasn't a AEW raising the tide?
Would Anderson and Gallows have been able to elevate Impact if not for the Young Bucks being on AEW?
Yeah.
They'd have had to been competing with the Young Bucks, or they'd have been on that other U.S. product while the Young Bucks are overseas. Like, there's so much that was done in those partnerships that helped really raise everybody. And like you said, a rising tide raises all ships.
Yep. Even more than that, like, if it wasn't for AEW, would you know who MJF is?
No. Not a
He
chance.
he was actively wrestling on the MLW. We
Yeah.
were wrestling fans. He was on MLW. We weren't watching MLW. We had a
More
hard time
importantly,
finding him.
Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy.
Literally, the very first pay-per-view, Orange Cassidy came out, and you and I both watched several hours of Orange Cassidy matches after.
Sammy
and we're
Guevara.
sending them back and forth to each other. Sammy Guevara.
Yeah. Would he have maybe gotten signed to Impact or WWE? Possibly. We can't say he would though.
Right.
I acknowledge that you.
But without AEW, we don't. Nobody.
You
knows who
acknowledge,
Orange
but
Cassidy
you don't bless me? How dare you?
is. I acknowledge, but I don't bless.
God damn it.
Incredible.
But I didn't say anything about not blessing. I just acknowledged. That's all. He put the not blessing on it. Put
I
words
bless
in my
you.
mouth.
Thank you for someone finally blessing me. Gosh, it's a crime in itself.
There's a whole bunch of AEW wrestlers, original AEW wrestlers, and we're not talking about the Kenny Omegas, the Young Bucks, or so on and so forth. Those all had built their own names.
Brit
We
Baker.
knew, yeah, Brit Baker, yeah. What was it? 5 years ago, last week, Brit Baker. Well, no, wasn't. Yeah, it was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, last week, Brit Baker wrestled on WWE in a squash match where she lost to
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax.
Right? That would have been all we'd ever seen of Brit Baker, probably.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Hikaru Shida. We didn't watch Stardom.
No.
We probably never would have seen her. Riho. Half of that women's division. Penelope Ford.
Nyla Rose.
Yeah, Nyla Rose. And Anna Jay.
Yeah.
And so many of the men's division as well. Like I mentioned Sammy Guevara, but the Fuego del Sols, so many of those young up and comers, the Pillars.
Cero Miedo.
Mm-hmm. How much crazier Leo Rush is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Compared to what he was shown in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's so fast.
Yeah, he's super. Now I remember seeing him in Ring of Honor. And knowing, and that's part of why I was so frustrated with the way WWE treated him, even during his time in NXT, is that they never truly let him fly, because he is fast.
Pun is always intended.
Yes, he is just wicked fast. It's crazy, and so AEW is allowing him to kind of flourish. But they're doing it because they're based.
Our last
based on
domestic exposure to Cody would have been Stardust.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you know what? At this rate, with my amount of hatred towards Cody and his entrances, I think I might have been fine.
I'm still saying that I'm choosing to believe that we're still being worked by Cody. That this is all part of the plan. That we're hating him because he wants us to hate him. But anyways,
I bless you with wisdom via strife. This is your strife, Cody Rhodes. Anyway,
after that Liberty promo, everything went downhill. I was like, nope, I just hate your guts now. I think you're silly. I think you're too cocky. I think you're whatever. And I hope you're right, because then I would be totally swerved.
Those are all things that we put on our heels, that they're too cocky, that they take credit for things that aren't theirs. That was, I think, the beginning of the work, to be perfectly honest.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
I mean, here's the deal. A perfect example. He's teasing it so much. This week on Dynamite, Sammy Guevara comes out to talk about his TNT title open challenge thing, right? And he's standing there talking to, I believe it's Tony Schiavone. And before he gets more than a couple words out, you hear Cody's theme song hit, and he comes out and he says, I'm not going to go word for word on it, but he says, as a fellow good guy to a good guy, I wish you luck on your open challenge. I'd like to inform you that as of right now, Tony Khan has booked your match for next week's Dynamite against me. Which is hints at this whole good guy face me sort of a thing. And then he starts to walk towards the heel ramp before going, and turning and walking to the face entrance, right? This is all calculated Cody Rhodes things. All of this stuff to make us go, oh, no, he just keeps forcing this face on us. He keeps forcing this, that he's a good guy on us. I think we're going to get the turn. I don't know if we're going to get it during Sammy. I sincerely hope that
Revolution.
Yeah, well, I worry that Revolution is pushing it too far, because they did announce the official date for Revolution, and it's not till March 6th, I think.
Oh, snap.
And I think that's a little bit too far to push this out. Now, if I were doing it, I would have him lose to Sammy Guevara and snap, and after the match, just destroy Sammy Guevara, hit him with a couple crossroads, maybe a low blow first, all of that stuff. And that would be a thing. But I think they're going to move a little bit longer before they do that.
I think the big thing on that particular piece is they'll work it until people are sick of it. Like, here's the thing. Good guys don't have to tell people they're good guys. It is a frustration of mine on social media when people are like, I'm the good guy. Nothing drives me crazier than hearing people say, well, I'm the good guy, so I'm a good person. So this shouldn't be happening. I don't understand why a good person has struggles. I'm a good person. Oh, okay. Well, you shouldn't have to tell people if you're a good person.
That's it.
Like,
it should be acknowledged.
Acknowledge my goodness. It's why we hate Roman. Acknowledge my greatness.
No, but it should be acknowledged in the sense that if you do a good thing, you just do it.
Really, you shouldn't have to get acknowledgement for it. Somebody shouldn't have to tell you.
Right. Well, you're not doing
it. Good job at helping the little old lady across the street.
Right. I'm not.
You don't need applause for doing a good thing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're doing it because you're a good person. The only way you'll know if you're a good person, though, if someone tells you, if someone acknowledges it. Hey, by the way, you did this really great thing. The Rock doing the People's Choice Award for the Make-A-Wish person. He gave her his freaking People's Choice Award, and then what was his saying? It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice, was his quote, which he got from somewhere else. And this guy, just, you know what I mean? He does stuff for the kindness of his heart. He gave a truck to a former Marine vet.
But he did it on camera.
Yeah. But you know what he didn't do? But he didn't say, as a fellow good person, I am giving you this.
Yeah. So there was some, in the words of the movie Fight Club, there was some masturbation on the Rock's behalf.
Acknowledge that you sneezed again.
Bless you. With wisdom via strife. Anyway, there's a certain amount of in the words of the movie Fight Club, self-improvement is masturbation. There's a certain amount of masturbation in terms of getting recognized. I'm going to do this thing on camera. But there's even more in saying, look at me do this thing on camera.
Well, I mean, to get a little bit out of wrestling, it's like when a major multi-billion-dollar corporation says, look at how good we are. We're going to donate a portion of our profits when you buy this certain thing to charity. But first you have to buy this thing from us, right? You have to give us your money first, and then we'll give some of that to a charity. Versus a corporation saying, hey, just so you know, we've donated $2 million to blah, blah, blah corporation. There's a big difference between it, right? One of them is, look at how good we are. look at how good we are. And the other one is like, we did a good thing.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah.
and here's the deal is this was Cody Rhodes going, look at how good I am. I am such a good guy. I am challenging Sammy Guevara to his face, and I'm saying I am a good guy, and you're a good guy. We are both good guys. And I'm going to leave through the good guy entrance because I'm a good guy. Which is entirely a work because it's entirely him actually saying, I'm really a bad guy, but I'm pretending I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
Don't
I hope you're right.
This
I hope you're right.
because I'm really bad.
I just feel like he's also stubborn and doesn't want to be a bad guy.
Mark my words, he will say, you have a job because of me to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He will go that far heel. And
I am so
we will
good.
hate him for it, and we will love him for it.
I gave everyone a job here. I started this company.
Yeah, the
with
thing is,
4 fellow friends.
Yeah. The thing is, here's the deal is the AEW fans aren't used to it, but Cody has been heel before. And he is
Cody Rhodes
fucking good at being heel.
He was really good in Japan as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
But he also was really good as dashing Cody Rhodes. And you were just like, man, you're a prick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing in the early days before AEW, when he was in Bullet Club, the whole thing with, is he trying to take over Bullet Club? He was manipulating things behind the scene. He was looking straight at at Kenny Omega, being like, no, I'm not the bad guy. But secretly, he was the bad guy. So, anyway.
I'm your friend.
Yes. So, we'll go ahead and move on from this because I want to talk a little bit about my crime.
There you go.
So, my crime, it's a positive in a way. My crime is to the 2 people who we talked about on the fantasy booking a bit, Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano. And they did basically what we mentioned that we thought they were going to do. Kyle O'Reilly came out and just got absolutely demolished by Von Wagner in a cage and went out on his back. His last match in WWE will be a loss to an up-and-comer, right? And then NXT, Johnny Gargano came out and gave his whole farewell speech and his tell-all. And what happened? Fuckface McFuckstick, I don't remember his name, came out and just destroyed him. I don't remember his name. Who the fuck is this? Don't care. In the end,
McFuckstick.
Yeah, Fuckface McFuckstick. He came out and
rough name for a wrestler.
Yeah, it is.
You can't even say your name on the air.
Yeah, well, it's even more, especially if you're a face. Howdy, I'm Fuckface McFuckstick.
I can make it work.
I'm a good guy.
Hi guys, I'm Fuckface McFuckstick. How are you doing?
So, so both of them effectively went out on their backs, which this is why it's a positive crime, because that's what you're supposed to do. When you're an established star of some sorts and you're leaving a company in wrestling, the way to do it is go out on your back. You come in on your back, you go out on your back.
Oh, my back.
And they both did it. They both put over the young up-and-comers. They're going to be fine. They're going to go to wherever they go. Johnny Gargano tried to make it in his speech sound like he might be back. I don't know what my future holds. I'm going to take some time to do some stuff and everything. But then I might be back. Well, you might see me in the future.
All Adam Cole Bebe style.
Yeah, he's not coming back, right? I think John Moxley did a very similar speech. Maybe. I think John Moxley, when he was leaving as Dean Ambrose, did a very similar speech, right?
In the interview?
Yeah. And then
not really, if
days afterwards showed up at AEW.
Yeah, but he literally said
interviewed left and right on WWE.
Yeah, he's like, no, but he's like, if the chips are in order, like, I was like, okay, you're obviously coming to freaking Double or Nothing. He said that with the Michael Cole interview.
Here's the deal: is remember when he was leaving, everything WWE thought is he was going off to film a movie. All the reports were he's not going to come to Double or Nothing because he's in Vegas or he's someplace filming a movie. He had gone so far with this that he arranged a cover story with an actual Hollywood movie maker that they were filming a movie. They had a title for the movie. They had a plot synopsis. They had a character that he was playing for the movie. And he left with this whole concept of he might come back to WWE. He's leaving on good terms. You know, he's not going to another company. He's not quitting because he doesn't like WWE. He's letting his contract expire so he can go pursue other things. And then days later, he shows up at AEW and then fucking goes shoot interview on WWE from then on, right? Here's the deal. Johnny Gargano gave this whole, I might be back. I don't know what the future holds for me. I'm going to be a dad in a couple months. And so that's my focus now. Who knows what's going to happen? And hours after his contract is done and he's no longer under contract to WWE, he reopens his Twitch stream and he opens up a Pro Wrestling Tees store. Keep in mind, Pro Wrestling Tees is the same company with AEW, right?
Yeah, but that's where everyone else. Sami Zayn had his El Generico shirts up on Pro Wrestling.
No, I get it. It's the reason they called it the Pissant T-shirt company, though. Yes, it's the easiest way for a pro wrestler to make money outside of WWE. Put up a T-shirt, sell it there. But my point is, if you legitimately were thinking, I might go back to WWE in a few months, I'm going to take some time, like his interview, his promo made it sound like, I'm going to take some time to be a dad and do all of this stuff. And I might be back next year. If you were legitimately thinking of that, he wouldn't have had fucking designs ready for Pro Wrestling Tees. They didn't whip those designs up in an hour. Those designs were made behind the scenes in his last month in WWE. He knew he was going to be putting up this Pro Wrestling Tees store a month ago when he contacted them to start making designs, right?
I mean, it could also be too. Did he have a Pro Wrestling Tees thing before when he was in the indie shows? Some of these designs could be old, not old, but like stuff he had already too, right?
You say that, except
you say that, but it's back.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy, ladies and gentlemen.
My point is, his T-shirts are Johnny Wrestling is back. He wouldn't have had that T-shirt before he left.
Right. No. I'm referring to just
Johnny Gargano, Believe in Yourself, which was the whole focus of his final promo. Right. Believe in yourself. Right. Johnny Gargano, bet on yourself. He said that on NXT. You will never regret betting on yourself. His whole Pro Wrestling Tees shirt store is all new designs based off of the stuff, because he didn't call himself Johnny Wrestling. He was just Johnny Gargano. Johnny Wrestling is a nickname that came up in NXT.
Oh, okay.
So all of these shirts that say Johnny Wrestling with a spider that looks awfully similar to the Into the Spider-Verse spider.
Marvel lawsuit.
Well, I'll just point out that that spider didn't exist when he last had a PWT shirt. So that's my point. Is he had this all planned. Now we don't know about Kyle O'Reilly because he hasn't put up a shirt right now. He's been basically radio silent since. Right. But Kyle O'Reilly doesn't quite have the
fan base.
Following that Johnny Gargano has. So Kyle O'Reilly could literally just kind of exist for a bit and then come back and be fine. Mm-hmm. But both of them are officially free agents. They can sign wherever they want to. We could see either of them show up on
Winter is Coming
or Impact on Thursday, MLW,
ROH tomorrow,
or ROH tomorrow. Today. Yeah, I mean, we literally
why not?
Yeah, We literally could see any of that stuff happen. We don't know, and it's exciting because here's the deal: those are two, especially Johnny Gargano. Those are wrestlers that I would love to see get a fair shake someplace. Right? Johnny Gargano, I've said before, I firmly believe is one of the best natural baby faces out there, and for him to come in and get a main event level feud in anything would help highlight him. So. But my reason I still say it's a positive crime is because they did what they're supposed to do, right? They let their contract expire. They kept things nice with their company while they were there. They went out. They allowed the company because so many. Do you think Charlotte, if Charlotte were to ever leave WWE for someplace else, do you think she's going out on her back?
Bro, she would get her full-fledged promo, just like Gargano should have gotten. That really pissed me off, bro. I get it. Lie on your back when you're leaving the company. Cool story. But this is a guy that helped build your NXT brand, though. You know what I mean?
And he wanted to continue building it. Right.
I guess.
Because remember, that NXT brand also helped build him.
Yep.
Okay.
So, but in the end, you know, like I said, I don't care if you're Johnny Gargano and about to leave and go to another promotion and wrestle there, or you're 60-year-old wrestler who has to retire and can't wrestle anymore. You're Kurt Angle or whatever. You go and in fact,
God, he's not 60, man.
He's not 60. Jesus Christ.
I threw it out there after saying things, but in the end, in fact, it was my frustration with the way Kurt Angle left, is that Kurt Angle did not go out on his back. Kurt Angle did his retirement match, and he had to win, right?
He didn't choose what his entire retirement match was, though, either, so.
Well, yeah. But you and I said before, Kurt Angle should have gone up against one of the younger up-and-comers, maybe a Baron Corbin, maybe a Chad Gable.
He went up against the Baron Corbin and won.
And he should have lost. That was the next step of it.
He's only 53. You put 7 years on him.
That is an American legend, my friend.
Dare you? You give him his years back, damn it.
Nope. Here's the deal. I guarantee you ask him, he says he's got 60-year-old knees.
That's fair.
And definitely a 60-year-old neck.
Oh,
he might even say his neck is 70.
But, well, that's what happens when you win an Olympic gold medal and you win it with a broken freaking neck.
So that's my crime there. Now, in the end, there is a part for WWE in this whole thing that I have to say is I think both of them would have been better off doing this at the pay-per-view rather than on the Fallout show afterwards. Right?
Agreed. Yeah.
But I so enjoyed hearing Rebel Heart one more time before, because we're probably never going to hear that again, or at least not for years. Hear Johnny Gargano's Rebel Heart, and that's one of my favorite WWE entrance musics, and we haven't heard it for the last year or so because he's been a heel and had the Gargano family, whatever. So
yes,
but on that note, we will go ahead and move on to misdemeanors and commendations.
So I guess I'm gonna give my commendation. Do we do commendations first or misdemeanors first?
Do them both. I've decided to start putting them all together so you can jump back and forth, because it didn't ever matter before. I'd say misdemeanors and you'd be like, well, it's probably more a commendation. So I'm like, fuck it, whatever. Put them together into one thing.
All right, cool.
Just tell us what it is. Is it a commendation or misdemeanor?
You're the one who invented the positive crime.
Yeah. Yeah, I still called it a crime. I said it's a positive crime. I said it from day one. I said some of these crimes will be positive.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, what is it? What do you got? What do you got?
So I will give commendation to Brock Lesnar.
For being a lumberjack.
But also like for his mic work now. His easygoing,
I'm soft spoken, but I'm a beast is now actually working well to his favor. I know you don't watch SmackDown because Sling TV, but I'm sure Fabe, you watched it. No.
Tonight.
Okay, fair. So he had a great promo with Sami Zayn. They mentioned that they were both Canadians and whatever. Like it was really like I really enjoyed. Now I don't know if it's again Brock sounded good on the mic because he was also with Sami, who's obviously a superstar on the mic. But it was pretty badass that now we actually get to see some good Brock mic work. And I guess just that segment, it made also we didn't think we were going to see Sammy again. Maybe his contract was just going to run up and that's it. Sammy still got his ass kicked at the end by Brock, but it was at least a decent promo, and we got to at least see Sammy do what he does best in his heelish fashion. So commendation goes out to Brock, Sammy, and the creative team who developed that segment. I thought that was spot on, and it made this time around everyone look good or how they were supposed to look. So that is where my commendation is going there.
Okay. So I've got my first commendation goes to this guy. It's not going to focus on it.
Oh, that's a valid one. Hook me in. I was hooked.
They sent Hook, and Hook was good, and Hook is now officially All Elite. We talked about this prior to the show a bit, but I just get into it here. Hook came out, did everything he should have done for a debut. He was good in the ring. He looked good. He looked aggressive. He looked mean. And he went against Fuego del Sol, destroyed Fuego. I would have preferred Fuego to have a little bit more offense just to make Hook look like stronger in the end, but that's a very nitpicky.
Bad. Wasn't a total job though. It wasn't like
that's a very nitpicky thing. That just means saying a little bit more, but in the end, the only problem I really had with it is I fucking hate his hair.
I think that's the point, though. Yeah.
I fucking hate it. But he looked good. The thing is, I look at him, and much like I look at Dominic Mysterio, I look at him, and then I look at his father, Taz, and then I look back at him, and then I look at Taz, and something doesn't add up in my brain.
Right.
Looks
nothing like Taz.
Taz is a short little fire plug of a person, and Hook is tall and muscular and lean, and
the difference between him and Taz, or him and Dominic, is he's not trying to be Taz.
Mm-hmm. He did do some really cool suplexes though.
Yeah, he's like MMA oriented.
Doing suplexes is very different than.
No, I agree.
Doing a 619.
Yeah.
He also doesn't suck. And that's a big difference between him and Dominic.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I've said it before. I think Dominic wouldn't be so bad if he wrestled as a big man or at least a medium-sized man, but he tries to wrestle as a little guy.
He can be a high flyer, but he can't be as a high flyer that has the speed of Rey Mysterio. And
he could be like the Austin Theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like, that's his build.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no.
Or a Sammy Guevara, or you know, one of those. But anyway,
it would break Ray's little heart. So
Hook was really, really good, and so I'm all for him, and I'm excited to see what they do with him. I was nervous going into this because so often I was nervous that it was going to be another Dominic Mysterio sort of thing, and I feel bad even bringing him a Brock Anderson sort of thing.
Who's Brock Anderson?
Arn Anderson's son.
Oh,
who wrestles in AEW.
Yeah,
and he's not. I don't want to say he's bad. He's just bland.
Yeah, that's the perfect explanation.
You know, that said, though, I mean, take away the promo skills from Arn. And
Arn is
was
pretty
kind
bland.
of bland.
Yeah. But the problem is Brock Anderson doesn't have the promo skills of
Correct.
Arn. So he's got
Which
all the
means-
bland
which
and
means
none
you're
of the
going to be a jobber.
Mhm. And here's the I mean it's fine. AEW, all wrestling companies need jobbers. What
Yeah.
you don't need is your jobber to be the much hyped son of a legend, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring him in as a jobber, but give him another name. And
Or as the disappointment.
yeah, maybe.
I'd say
I
that.
just say just give him another name, let him wrestle for a while as a jobber. If he gets to be good enough that you decide to promote him, you give him a haircut and you shine him up, and then you have him re-debut a few months later as Brock Anderson, and we'll all fucking roll our eyes and be like, oh, that's the guy we knew, but we'll pretend and we'll be fine. So
yeah.
And
But-
maybe that's what WWE is in retrospect is doing with Brock Anderson. They want to see if
isn't
he
doing anything with Brock Anderson.
because he's an AEW.
With,
You mean Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker, yeah.
Well, no, the problem is A, Braun Breaker is good. B, they're not letting him be a jobber. They're pushing him to the main event. And so they're doing the exact opposite, right?
Well, but I mean, if once he goes to WWE, they might end up saying, "Hey, let's Steiner it up now. Let's go off your name." No, okay.
They're not going to for this reason and this reason alone. Trademark. This is where WWE and AEW differ. WWE is so focused on we have to control the trademark so that we can get all the money off merchandising and then divvy out a little bit to the guy, right? Whereas AEW is like, listen, the wrestler is going to own their trademark, right? So let's let the wrestler have their trademark. We'll take a cut of the merchandise as long as it says AEW on it, and we'll roll on. And so if WWE was trying to do what
Or
AEW is doing,
you want to be on our PW Pro Wrestling Tees,
mhm.
you know, okay, you're going to pay a fee to be on here.
Yeah, they take a cut of each sale, right?
Yeah.
It's the simple fact is, you know, here's the deal: is WWE says we're gonna take all the profits and give you a cut. AEW and Pro Wrestling Tees are like, we're gonna take a cut and give you the rest, right?
Right.
And you can determine how much you're worth.
Mhm. And so WWE is never going to let Braun Breaker be Braun Steiner. It's why they didn't even want to give him Braun Steiner in the original. They wanted him to be Rex Steiner or Rick Steiner, you know what I mean? Because they wanted to have control over it. And when they realized using the Steiner name, they would never be able to have control over it because the Steiners have their name. That's why they went with Braun Breaker. And that's why they're never, even when he comes to the main roster, they're going to be like,
No, you're still Braun Breaker.
you're still Braun Breaker. Or just Braun. Or Breaker.
I feel like it would be Breaker.
So, anyways, there's something else I was gonna say, not directly related to Hook, but while I think of it, anyone other commendation or misdemeanors?
I feel like I should. I feel like I don't. I mean, that isn't redundant, like Nikki Ash and all that stuff. I feel like I'm just beating the same doors that other podcasts do.
I mean, I guess I'll give a misdemeanor for the fact that Shinsuke's been like IC champion for, I don't know, more than 4 months, and he's only had one title defense. I get they don't do much with the IC championship, but holy hell, man, when you have talent like Shinsuke, make him do an open challenge like every freaking week. So misdemeanor on WWE losing out on cashing in to what could potentially be amazing wrestling on Friday nights with Shinsuke versus whoever for the IC title and using their titles. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, raise your hand if you're surprised that WWE is misusing Shinsuke.
Yep.
It's
really hard to drink that way, no?
since day one.
It is very difficult to drink
That's
way.
part of why it was so frustrating watching it in the first place. Is like that's the harder way to drink, man. I mean, you have to go out of your way to drink like that.
It was like the Whopper commercials back in the day, but I have these little hands. I can't eat the Whopper.
So
My hands are so tiny. I have to hold this one.
I remembered my other commendation. My commendation goes out to Trent, aka Trent Beretta, for apparently winning the trademark on the Beretta name. I know he filed for it like a year ago, but the fact that he came back from his injury, his spinal fusion, showed up with his mom, which was awesome.
Yep.
And came to the ring and looked fucking jacked, by the way. But they Excalibur made a very specific point to multiple times say, it's Trent Beretta. He would not have done that if they weren't confident that he had the trademark right now. So commendation for Trent for getting back his full name.
Do you know who he was fighting against for Beretta? Like
WWE
company?
Because
WWE.
he wrestled as Beretta in WWE.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Now, here's the deal. If it's somebody else, if it's a fake last name, don't even fight it. But if it's your real last name, it'll be a douche flute.
His last name is Beretta,
WWE.
like legitimately?
I don't actually think so. Well,
But did he have it before he went?
I think he had it before, though.
There's two arguments. Like if you only have that name in WWE, Diesel
because
is a
his
really
name
good
is
example.
Gregory Marsculio.
But he went by Trent Beretta before he was in WWE.
I believe so. Let's look up the Wikipedia page to get it all. Let's see. Professional wrestling career.
You know, you could donate on Wikipedia for all the times that you use it.
Yep. He
Really helped him out.
he started off under the name Plasma with a Z.
Oh,
Plasma. But then he tried out for WWE under the name Greg Cardona.
Oh.
And then went to FCW under the name Greg Jackson, and then later changed to Trent Beretta.
So he's kind of the tool here.
But I mean, here's the deal: I don't think he was in a long legal battle. I think it was he filed a trademark request for it, and it just took a long time for it to get released to him. So
fair enough.
So it probably means that WWE just wasn't fighting it anymore. Now, on top of it, in WWE, he wrestled specifically as just Beretta, not Trent Beretta anymore. So that's probably the big thing there, is that he gets the trademark for Trent Beretta, not just Beretta.
Okay. I do want to say a quick misdemeanor to Facebook for listening to our podcast and putting up the Woozer haptic feedback ad on here when this is the first time I've really talked about it in front of things.
So yeah. I'm gonna give a small misdemeanor to Malachi Black for being shitty with the Black Mist. And it's more because his aim is so bad. Like he sprays the Black Mist in people's faces and he misses their face entirely.
He can't see out of one of his eyes. His depth perception is off.
It's not depth perception.
Have you seen how fucked up his face is from it?
Did you see him spit his Black Mist at Julia Hart?
Well,
he missed her entirely and hit fucking Brian Pillman almost square in the face. Brian Pillman was standing like 3 feet to the right of.
It's almost like that's part of the storyline.
Maybe they played it off like she got hit in the face like crazy, but she barely had any on her. And so I'm like, come on, man, get a little bit better. Right.
I'm going to give a misdemeanor to
call up Buddha.
I'm going to give a misdemeanor to anybody who's spraying mist out of their mouth. That's freaking disgusting.
I will say, I've had the heebie-jeebies on the mist,
especially during like a COVID
ever since
thing,
COVID
too.
started, right? Because
I had the heebie-jeebies on it in the 90s, spitting on people's.
It's
I
really
didn't like it, but once we're in a pandemic, because WWE did Asuka's green mist after COVID started, and I was like, no, I'm not sure that in the middle of a global pandemic upper respiratory virus, we should be spitting on anyone right now. I just don't think so.
I mean, I kind of don't believe you. You didn't even want to bless me when I sneeze. So I don't know. I call bullshit on that.
Blessing is superstition. I don't believe that. Pandemics are science, and we just fucking lost him. He's gone. He said the bless me thing and deuced out.
He's like,
you didn't even bless me when I sneezed. Pew, pew, pew. Okay.
He'll be back.
He's back.
My bad.
Pew, pew, pew.
You won't bless me?
I'm out.
You won't bless me, then I'm out. You don't bless me, bless you. Out. Drops mic.
Bitch pudding.
Bitch pudding.
Did you just say bitch pudding?
Bitch pudding. This is going to be a total non-wrestling related thing, but look it up. It's from what was the fucking Cartoon Network show Seth Green did? I'm totally blanking on the name.
Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken. There we go. Thank you. Robot Chicken.
Bitch
Look
Pudding
up Robot
Special.
Chicken Bitch Pudding.
Season 7, episode 16.
So they did a whole bunch. It was Bitch Pudding was their new character for Strawberry Shortcake, and she's the best. She's the absolute best. But Bitch Pudding. Pew pew. So
I'll be listening to this in the background, just so you know.
Bitch Pudding's my favorite. My wife and I, every once in a while, we were like, Bitch Pudding. Oh, hi, Bitch Pudding. Anyways, but yeah, no, I just think if you're gonna do the green mist, black mist, whatever, you just need to at least be better at it. So, because I watched that and I was like, he didn't even hit him. I do think they're telling a storyline with it, but God, you gotta hit your target.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, someone who did hit his target and is my next commendation is freaking is Mr. Jim Duggan himself for beating cancer, kicking cancer right in the ass, because now he is cancer free. And congrats to Duggan and his family, and that is great news. And hopefully JR gets as good news as Duggan did, because JR is doing a bunch of stuff, stuff for cancer too, to try and beat it for his skin cancer, which is why he's not on AEW right now. So congrats to Duggan, and hopefully JR gets those positive vibes thrown at him and is able to do the same thing. So
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up while I'm laughing at Bitch Pudding.
Ha ha, cancer.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
They're talking cancer. I gotta stop watching. This is freaking hilarious.
I told you, Bitch Pudding's the best.
It doesn't take much to make you look like an asshole, but didn't. He got so serious. I'm scared now.
And now a misdemeanor towards JLB.
Love you, bud. No, that's not gonna work.
But
you did
on that note,
me and everything. I'm sorry.
If we're all done with commendations and misdemeanors, going once, going twice,
sold.
So we will go ahead and draw this to a close the book on the wrestling booking unit. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. You can do that wherever you listen to it or watch it. Make sure to click the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, watching it there, or Facebook, like the page, Twitter, whatever. Share it with your friends and click the thumbs up button. Like it. Make sure to rate us on whatever podcast platform you're using. Give us 5 stars, like on Apple. Just like the number of stars will give Bitch Puddin' if you watch the Robot Chicken episodes with Bitch Puddin' in it. 5 stars. Otherwise, all of the links are going to be in the doobly doos. You can go there to get your Piss On Podcast hat, your Raw and Order WBU shirt, your signed autograph shirt for it.
Who the fuck is this?
Who the fuck is this? All of that stuff is up on the merch store. You can find the links to that in the doobly doos. You can also follow us on social media. You can follow me at Raw and Order WBU, just like display it on the screen there. Unless you're going on Facebook, then it's at Pissant Podcast, right? You can follow DA Fabe at DA Vincent K Fabe, but I never post or anything, and it's only on Twitter.
May God bless you with ample strife for your being a prick.
Yeah. See,
JLP.
he was the one who was blessing you, and I was just acknowledging your sneezes.
Anyway, yeah, DA Vincent K. I forgot I had that part, or I would have done the thing that makes me feel really awkward when Smarks does it to me and just sits there and does.
See what happens when you just keep watching Robot Chicken on your own freaking podcast. One job, good sir.
And then you can follow JLB at wherever the fuck he is, but he's not up on screen because he's not sharing his screen anymore. So oh, look, there he is. So I'll let him now come in here.
You can, of course, follow me at JLB420, but Real Talk Radio is the brand at Real Talk Radio 8, anchor.fm/RTR. And we should be back, I believe, on Tuesday.
I believe we're live on Tuesday again. And then the rest of this winter is, or the rest of this year is going to be
winter is coming.
Yeah, it's going to be a little hit or miss at times. So we'll keep y'all appraised. But on that,
why am I still on the full screen?
Because I was too busy trying to hold back a cough to click the button. On that, we will go ahead and wrap things up and close the book on the wrestling booking unit. Thank you all for listening or joining us. We will see you soon.
Bless you, fuckface.
Bitch pudding.